Fucking Warhawk, bitch. Yeah. Like getting peed on, don't you? So you said 12 fellas are there, one to go?
They could have taken this up in January when Special Counsel Jack Smith said, hey, can you hear this on an expedited basis? But chose not to. Then the appeals court gives a bulletproof ruling, as Dahlia says, and they still decide to take it up.
What it says is that they are corrupted political actors who act in bad faith. The reason why people like Mark and people like Dahlia seem to have a crystal ball is because they're real, because they're realists, and they understand the court for what it is. And at some point, people in the media, people at home, and people sitting in the White House have to stop pretending that the Supreme Court is some kind of benign, trying to do its best institution and start to realize that there are 6 Republicans, not conservatives, Republicans on the Supreme Court who view it as their job to help the Republican Party. And until we do something about that, until we take away that power, until we draw the line on them there, they will continue to do this. They will help Trump.
No.
They will take away abortion rights. They will end affirmative action. They will liberalize gun rights.
I hate when that happens.
They will do all of it until we stop them. And somebody needs to start listening in the higher echelons of the Democratic Party, because we will keep losing every day we allow these 6 Republicans in robes to rule over all of us.
Who are you? What are you? Who moved the rock?
Oh my God, that man is attacking a woman.
Yeah, he sure is.
Are you gonna do something?
Well, you see, that there man pummeling that woman in the face, very viciously, I might add, he is an illegal alien and she is a citizen of New York. And you see, Mayor Adams has made it a crime for us to stop crime that's being perpetrated on citizens of New York by people who are illegally here. Sanctuary city kind of thing.
He's beating her to a pulp. You're the police. Do something.
Oh, right. Excuse me, sir. I have a debit card worth $10,000 for you, funded with taxpayer money. Oh, and because I'm not checking your ID, because that would be illegal here in New York, you can just go get another one in about an hour or so. Yeah, I'll tell you, it's nice to see them beating up a woman for a change. Usually they're attacking us police officers.
You had this DEA agent that just pulled up to this guy's house. He got out and started walking up the driveway. The guy was up there washing his car. He stopped. He said, how can I help you, sir? He said, I'm with the DEA. I'm here to search your property in the back. Make sure you don't have any illegal crops or anything else illegal going on back there. The guy said, oh, no problem. He said, but when you go through that gate, you probably don't want to go. He said, hey, did you hear what I just said? He reached in his pocket, pulled out his badge. He said, you see this badge? It's backed by the federal government. It allows me to go wherever I want to go. No questions asked, no answers given. Do you understand me? The guy said, yes, sir. He said, now go back and wash your car. The guy left. The agent put his badge up and started walking through the fence and went on to the field. A couple minutes later, you heard the agent screaming, ah! He said, somebody help me. It was a big old bear chasing behind him. He said, this bear trying to kill me. The guy that was washing his car, he dropped his rag, ran over to the fence. He said, your badge. Show him your badge.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do and homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
I'm kind of retarded.
Well, the Bitcoiners sure had a big week last week. In just a 5-day period, you had it rise by over $10,000. And it's gone up over $36,000 just in the past 6 months. I guess I should do the little disclaimer here. I am not a financial advisor, and I am not offering any kind of financial advice. I don't even actually own any Bitcoin. And I do like the concept of a decentralized currency that nobody can inflate. It has a set hard limit on how much can be created. And I understand the encryption is its security, but the one thing I never hear anybody address, and me not being all that technical of a person, I don't quite understand it myself, but when they talk about how supercomputers can't break the encryption, what about quantum computers? Because from what I've seen of quantum computers, they are so far advanced that it makes me wonder. But one thing I will say about Bitcoin is if you do own any of it, for fuck's sake, do not leave it on a goddamn exchange like Coinbase. You had this little glitch happen with the Coinbase app, so on Wednesday, when news broke of how Bitcoin was over 60,000 again, people logged into their Coinbase to check their account balance and it came up 0. And the funds weren't actually gone and the glitch got fixed, but still, you probably had a lot of people sitting there like...
That's right, run.
And the fact is, those exchanges aren't totally secure, so if you do get some, keep it on a thumb drive external storage. And as far as where Bitcoin goes from here, I see it as going up more. In another week, the Federal Reserve is going to end their emergency loan program that they started last year in the wake of those bank collapses. What do you think that's going to cause to happen?
That's a mystery.
And if all of a sudden you start having more banks fail, do you think that'd be a good thing or a bad thing for Bitcoin? And in what could possibly be very good news, we got a big announcement from Mr. Freeze, Mitch McConnell.
So I stand before you today, Mr. President, and my colleagues say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate.
And I say could possibly because it really all depends on who he gets replaced with. If it's just gonna be another double-dealing, backstabbing piece of shit, then what difference does it really make, right? And you'll be able to tell right away if it's one of those that gets in by the media's immediate reaction. If they start talking about how, well, this guy is a great choice because he really knows how to work across the aisle and get things done. You know, shit like that. Personally, I'd love to see it be Rand Paul, but I don't exactly have real high hopes of that actually happening. Though we still got 8 or 9 months till this actually happens anyway, so... we'll just wait and see. And tomorrow is Super Tuesday, where Haley isn't expected to win a fucking thing. She just got ass blasted in her own home state of South Carolina, and then lost even worse in Michigan. And after she loses every single fucking state tomorrow, it's gonna be really ridiculous looking for her to not drop out. But she probably won't. She might be going for the record of biggest loser ever in a 2-person primary, and she's just counting on some kind of shenanigans to allow her to be the de facto nominee. And I gotta admit, there is this sick kind of schadenfreude part of me that does enjoy watching her lose.
Again. And again.
And then on the other side, President Joey Skidmark's had a pretty big week. He went for his annual yearly checkup, and what do you know, the doctor reported that he's totally fit for duty.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
I mean, what are they gonna do? Tell the truth? That he went in there and sat in the room, and then the nurse came in and said,
"Hey, Poopy Pants, what's new?"
And then they did a bunch of tests and blood work, and then you had the doctor come in, and he sits down and he says, "Mr. President?"
Don't want to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're fucked up. You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
You think they're gonna report that to the American people? I mean, this is a national security concern. If you tell the public that a drooling, smooth-brained idiot with a full diaper, that could cause panic. So they just keep pretending like, oh, no, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. And meanwhile, hilariously, they're still trying to act like it's Trump that's the one who's losing his marbles. There was this clip of Lawrence O'Donnell from MSNBC, and as I listened to it the first time, it's one of those things that sounds like fucking parody. Like, this can't be real.
Because of the power of that bedrock. Once you dig that foundation, and when they dig, they really dig. They dig with dynamite. And once you dynamite out and you secure that foundation, that building isn't going anywhere.
Every word of that is true. Who is that guy? That is not the same mind you're listening to today. Donald Trump went from saying that accurate and informative statement about building in New York City 25 years ago to now saying They come out with faucets where no water comes out. The showers, you stand under a shower and there is no water coming out. And you say you end up standing there 5 times longer. What happened to that mind over the last 25 years? And what is happening to that mind tonight? As Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, closes in on Donald Trump's assets.
What an asshole!
He talks in his very serious voice, because he really wants to convey to you that he cares. And I love when they ignore the fact that Trump talks with hyperbole a lot, like a lot. And they try to analyze it in the literal sense. When he was talking about the low flow of shower heads, he said no water. And I find it hard to believe that this guy's that much of a dumbass that he doesn't understand that he means very, very little. This whole thing was a joke from a Seinfeld episode back in the fucking 90s. This is not exactly a new concept, but he tries to take it so seriously and literally like, what has happened to this man's brain? I don't know, maybe I give people too much credit and they really are this fucking stupid. Or like some of Biden's advisor, are they actively trying to sabotage him at this point? Or are they bigger dipshits than him considering they don't have dementia? You got Trump going down to the border for a visit at Eagle Pass, and they decide, hey, Joe, you should go down there too at the same time. It'll be great. What have these people been smoking lately? They're having him give press conferences after dark and answering questions? Sending him to East Palestine a fucking year after the fact? Putting him on TikTok where he gets immediately shat on for the whole Gaza thing? Even if you're the worst advisor in the world, you should accidentally get something right now and then. Did they really think, oh yeah, just go down to the border? I mean, you haven't been there for your entire presidency while you've had this crisis that you're just now acknowledging is going on. I'm sure this little visit will go over real well. So he goes to a border town, whereas Trump actually went to the border fence and started waving at fucking illegals across the border. And a couple of them actually waved back and were like, yo, Trump, Trump.
They like Trump. Can you believe it? They like the government.
And meanwhile, Biden's over there in Brownsville giving a speech to a bunch of shithills where he starts rambling on about fucking climate change. And this is all in the wake of a story that actually has been getting major network news traction. The young 22-year-old nursing student that got killed in Athens, Georgia by a Venezuelan illegal who got arrested in New York last year and then just released. And these stories are basically coming out like every fucking day. So I don't know what it is about this one that had Good Morning America and Today and all these major shows seizing on it and actually reporting on it. But this is a fucking everyday occurrence. Athens, Georgia, a shitty little college town that REM happened to come from, decided they were going to be a sanctuary city. And then you had the mayor go up there and give this press conference defending it, and you got to hear this shit.
Obviously that gives the impression to the community and even parents out there who are sending students to your city to go to college. What do you say to that?
I appreciate the question. Thank you very much. I want to say that we center our work here in Athens, Clarke County, in people's humanity. And part of everybody's humanity is the expectation of human dignity. While 2019 was not that long ago, you might remember the dynamic we were living in the late teens in this country, where you had the President of the United States speaking in the most vile terms about people who were foreign born. And you had that notion metastasizing in places like Charlottesville.
Oh, so because Trump said vile things about immigrants, that's why this girl got her skull beaten in? Did nobody proofread this? Because you'd have to assume anyone with a brain would go, listen, I know you want to score some little political points, but you're going to come off like a total asshole if you'd say this. Maybe it's just a sign of the times and people really are becoming that fucking stupid. And now you got questions about neo-pronouns popping up on Jeopardy. Dipshit moms trying to take their kids to a veterinarian because their son identifies as a cat.
My son does identify as a cat, but I cannot take him to a vet. Because I tried that, and the veterinarian told me that because he has human anatomy, that he does not know how to work on him or diagnose him with anything, and he legally cannot. So, and while I do think that is a form of discrimination, because, you know, my son, if he says he's a cat, he is a cat. and he needs to be treated like that, like one, you know?
This can't be real. Tell me, please, somebody tell me this isn't real.
But I'm not going to press charges because I know that he could lose his license if he did work on my son. So I'm not gonna try to sue him or anything, so don't worry. But this is something that I want to raise awareness on, because I do think that people that identify as an animal should be able to go to the vet. You know, that's the medical attention that they're wanting. And so I really do appreciate you asking this question. I think it's an important topic that we discuss, because if we don't, we're never going to make progress, and these people that identify as cats are going to have to continue going to human doctors, and I just don't think that that's fair.
Or how about a school having a charity event where donors get their feet and toes sucked by the students? I just don't get how you could have a whole room full of people sitting there watching this go down, and not one of them has the balls to stand up and do what needs to be done.
Oh, Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did... Larry!
Hello, what's going on here?
Oh, sir, I'm arrested. Oh, oh. Oh, oh.
All I know is when this societal collapse happens, and it is coming, it is gonna fall so fucking hard, and it's only a matter of time. A few weeks ago, you had Janet Yellen testifying for a congressional committee talking about how, oh, well, you know, that inflation that we said was transitory and temporary, well, no, it's here to stay, but that doesn't matter.
These high prices are here to stay, aren't they? These high, let me amend that, Madam Secretary. These high prices caused by Bidenomics are here to stay, aren't they?
Well, the high prices were not caused by Bidenomics.
Liar, whore, and you know it.
We suffered a pandemic that resulted in severe dislocations.
Yes, ma'am, but if I could ask you, they're here to stay, aren't they?
I don't expect the level of prices to go down.
And here's what Chairman Powell said. So the prices of some things will decline, others will go up, but we don't expect to see a decline in the overall price level. That doesn't tend to happen in economies, except in very negative circumstances. He's talking about a recession. It'll take a recession to get these prices down.
Well, we don't have to get the prices down because wages are going up, and a metric that is worth knowing is that the median American house worker.
Yeah, because everybody's wages are going up so much, right? And you look at the, say, average rent prices, what people are paying just for housing, let alone for food. And it's finally going to reach a breaking point. I'm surprised it was able to go this far. With each passing year, things get more expensive, and wages do go up, but they're outpaced by inflation. Over the decades, people have been getting squeezed just a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter. And while there's some winners and some losers, overall people just have to adapt to learn how to make do with a little bit less. Less brand new nice clothes, less vacations. See, this is a problem that can be ignored for quite some time because people just don't want to have to face it. But eventually, the people that can't afford a place to live even though they're working full-time is going to hit critical mass. And then what's going to happen?
All fucking hell is going to break loose.
And they try to act like it's completely divorced from the fact that they've created all this money out of thin air, when that was the literal definition of what inflation is, or at least it used to be the definition, and we'll change the way that we measure the inflation. But that only works for so long. And they can keep telling people that the economy is roaring all they want. It doesn't really matter if people believe it, if they're too in denial and just blissfully ignorant. Eventually, reality is gonna pull its dick out and smack everybody right in the face. And some of the richest people on earth have been cashing out a bunch of their company stock. Everybody from Bezos to the Waltons selling fucking Walmart stock off. Billions and billions of dollars. Even the fucking lizard nerd king that runs Facebook, they're freeing up all this liquidity. They see this imminent crash as an opportunity to be able to buy controlling interests in different companies for pennies on the dollar. And as for the rest of us, they'd rather us all just kill each other off while we fight over the remaining table scraps. And there's a real good chance that that's exactly what's gonna happen. Sláinte.
I have in this world is my thoughts and my word, and I don't break them for no one. You understand?
So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. Come on. Come on. So say good night to the bad guy. 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 So say good night. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. I told you, don't fuck with me. 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 You stupid fuck. Look at you now. Look at you now.